Hello, welcome again to episode 10. So excited. Time has gone by so fast to say this is episode 10 of Let's KeKe, but that just shows that there's a lot of people that want to connect and grow together and share. So I'm super excited to, have this platform, not for myself, for the community, so we can all, learn from one another, because the more we talk, the more we see we have a lot in common. And today I'm super excited to bring on Aliyah Hammad. She is a holistic wellness coach. She is just a light. And in the times that we just need someone to talk to or just someone to empower us, she's awesome. So let's give her a virtual clap and welcome her to the stage.
Hi.
Hi, Leah. How are you doing today?
Good, KeKe. How are you doing?
Girl, I'm amazing. I'm glad to have you on today.
I'm like super excited.
Awesome. And I just wanted to say, where are you coming? Where are you located?
I'm located right outside of Houston, Texas, in a really small city called Conroe, Texas. I'm in the country.
That's awesome. I've only been to Austin, but when I was there, that heat is different from Georgia.
It is, because we got the humidity on top of the heat.
Yeah, true.
And then we had that hurricane last week.
Yeah. Everything, huh? Heat, yes. Hurricane, humidity. Well, thank you again for joining us today. And as I said, this is episode 10. So I'm just super excited for you to be here with us today. I know you have plenty of insight and just, own experiences as well to share with us. And I just wanted to kind of, dive back into before we talk into what you're currently doing, growing up, were you always someone that just wanted to help other people, or, was an advocate for people and you didn't even realize what you were doing?
Yes. So I knew I wanted to help people, and I always knew I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to do corporate, but I never knew exactly what it was. So initially I wanted to be a doctor. And, things happened and I didn't become a doctor. And it took really decades, for me at least, to really find that, okay, this is really what I want to do. This is my path. But I want to tell people that I'm almost 40 years old. Okay. You're never too old to find your path. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think society pressures us from such a young age. So, okay, we have to decide what we want to do. Things can change. Your brain is at 20 and 30 and 40. So.
That's something that I completely agree with, because you think about it, you're in school, you're they always ask you, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Who do you want to work for? I'm like, how many times you want to ask me that? Why don't you ask me what businesses am I going to create? Be more in tune with the financial savvy side, because once you're an adult, you get out there in the world, it's wait, nobody told me about a FICO score. Nobody told me about, the things that really matter, out here being an adult. So like you said, it's never too late to find your path. And I've said this once before, it's we'd be well, why am I not doing this? Why am I not here yet? But it's it might not be your time. You might not be seasoned enough. You might not have the knowledge you have to really, take on what your purpose is.
Exactly. And you may fail a few times too. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Yeah.
Each failure, I believe you learn something from it.
Exactly.
You become better. So don't give up, people. That's the whole message.
And I agree with that, because failures is not really a failure, it's a learning curve, because you learn what not to do. And that's why I say it's no problem with working for anybody, but once you're working for someone, take that as an opportunity to see what they're doing and how they're moving about, and learn from their mistakes, so you won't have to, you can kind of check that off as okay, I definitely want to do that when I start my business.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with working for somebody. Hell, I had to work for someone for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just value in that too. Like you said, you can learn the things they're doing right and definitely the things they're doing wrong. A lot.
Exactly. Like I said, it doesn't matter what path you're on. Anybody can learn for somebody, and and that's like why I kind of created this podcast, this channel, is like to show everybody, like, hey, your path might be different from someone else. They might be trying to get to the same point, but it might take time for you. It might be some learning curves that you have to endure before you get there. So, but that's okay. And I think in our society, like, we're so like, I need it now type energy. I see they got it. Can I get it? Instead of like, you want to skip those steps sometimes when you really just need to fall back and, just be grateful for what you do have at the time. And then that'll catapult you once you're seasoned in yourself.
That's so true. I mean, those are some wise words. I have nothing to add to that. That was good.
Girl, yes, you do. And so, but I feel the same way. Like growing up, like I was trying to help a lot. I didn't try. It was just like in my nature, just if I could help, it's like, why not? Is that how you was as well?
Yes. Yeah. So it was like, in my case, it's like I wanted to help people because when I tried to get the help, I was rejected multiple times as a child. And I just knew I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to actually listen to people, no matter what their age was, because at least when I grew up, I was raised by boomer parents. Okay, and their saying was like, "You're seen, but you're not heard," and that's so true when you're like growing up with boomers. So yeah.
I agree. It's like I look at my kids today and I'm like, I'm on the phone. When my mom was on the phone, I wasn't around. I knew to be quiet. Today they come, can I get a Capri Sun? Like, was that really like an emergency? Did you really need a Capri Sun right now? Well, I'm trying to handle business. Really?
The kids of today they're different. They're smart. Like today's kids are super intelligent.
Yeah. They are, and I know that we're their first stepping stone with like learning things as well. So you have to be patient.
You do, and you also have to kind of be like, I think, a little empathetic. Like at least I have a 9-year-old, so when I was growing up, I didn't have social media. I didn't have any of that stuff. Now it's like they got social media. Like they can go viral at any point if they're being bullied, which is really sad. There's just a lot of stuff going on, which I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah, they've got my sympathy because it's a lot that they're dealing with.
And that's true. Like bullying back in our day could be like mischievous, but it could be like under the radar type things. Like only our school might know about it. But nowadays, like everybody in the world could know about it, instantly. So I feel like it's pros and cons to social media, but it's just how you utilize it.
It's true, yeah. If it gets in the right hands, it's great. If it gets into the wrong hands, we see what happens.
And as you got older, like, did you feel like you said you wanted to become a doctor. How did you segue from that thought path of becoming a doctor? Like, was there anything like life challenges or something that happened to like curve you from that?
Yes. So I'll get a little bit into my childhood without going too deep into it. So I was raised by a narcissistic family. I didn't know it was narcissistic abuse so much later in life. And so I wanted to be a doctor. I was actually studying the MCAT, which is the entrance exam to become a doctor. And I was basically told by them that I was too stupid to be a doctor and that people like me should not be doctors because it's just going to be useless. I wish I had the confidence that I had now back then, but I was young. I was only in my early 20s back then. So I was just like, yeah, they're right. I guess I shouldn't be a doctor. And I just gave up that dream. But now that I'm older, I'm happy I did not become a doctor because, oh gosh, I hear these horror stories and I'm just happy I didn't become one, with the bureaucracy and insurance, and you can't really see people the way you want to see them. And I just heard a lot of horror stories. And yeah, and with coaching, someone had told me at age, I was 25 or 26, I was going to graduate college. Someone had told me she sees me as a life coach. And I was like, what the heck is a life coach? 20 years ago, what is that?
Yeah.
And she's like, but your only issue is you're too young. Because I was like early 20s. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can see that. And I just lived life. I worked jobs. I had a kid, I got divorced. And yeah, then I just revisited it like a couple years later. And here I am.
And that's amazing as far as a testimony, because like you just said, like you were passionate at one point about being a doctor, but you could have looked at that as like a negative effect, like, oh, I didn't become a doctor, and just like played on that like emotionally, like, as a failure or something like that. But instead, like we said earlier, sometimes we aren't seasoned enough in what our true purpose was. And like you said, she said, you're too young to be a life coach. And it's like, well, it makes sense. You just pretty much become a technical adult at 18. Like, how much life have you really experienced to coach other people, And sometimes our negative stuff that we go through actually makes our vulnerability actually is a superpower, because we can connect with more people and be more empathetic.
I agree 100%. I know there was a quote by Eckhart Tolle. He said that with the suffering, we learn a lot, something like that. Something about suffering, we learn a lot, and we needed that suffering in order to learn and grow. It was something to that effect. I can't remember the exact quote, but I look back at my life and I'm like, yeah, I did need that, unfortunately, to learn and to grow. And if I did not have that, I don't think I would have been who I am today. Most of us would not have been who we are today. Even though it sucked that we had to go through that, but
I agree with that. It's kind of like, I think of life as like a quilt, it's like, it's the different stitches. The stitches might change, the color and the patterns might change, but ultimately you're still creating something in the end. And I don't think sometimes we think about that. Quilts have different colors and different patterns and stuff. And that's kind of like our life experiences. It's going to change. It's going to be different. It doesn't have to be the same pattern. And sometimes it's good to break that pattern that we've been accustomed of, learning our learning patterns and stuff like that. So, change is not always a bad thing.
No, it isn't. Change is a good thing. And I think we need change in order to grow and really be our true selves. Like, we need that. And change is growth. We need growth.
And I feel like it seems like I have a correlation with some people that I've been talking to lately. It's like, once we had the pandemic and we were forced to sit down with ourselves, a lot of people did have that time to do a lot of shadow work and a lot of, really diving into, hey, like, what am I really doing with my life? Like, and a lot of people started businesses during that time, and because it was like, I'm home, I have actual time to sit down. And I feel like sometimes the universe does that on purpose to make us sit back, stop, because I know for personal experiences, I felt like a robot sometimes. Get up, go to work, take care of the kids, come home, feed them, blah, blah. You can forget who you are. You become like of this world and you forget actually who you are. You feel like you see that a lot, or you experience that as well? Like being like robotic in what you did daily?
Yes. The pandemic was a crazy time for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so drastic. Yeah, a lot of us just sat there and thought about our lives, and now we're still even thinking about our lives too. I've seen that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are just not happy with the way they've been doing things. I mean, think about it. Like you said, you get up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you get dressed, you go to work, you commute, you're probably cursing on the road. Then you go to a job that you hate with people that you don't like. At least this is my life, at least, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you go home and then you curse people out some more in the road. And then oh my goodness, think about it. It's so miserable. Then you have to go home, like you said, feed the kids, give them a bath, help them with homework. And then you repeat it again the next day. Maybe an hour of Netflix. Think about it. That's so miserable. I mean, do that every single day, day in, day out, without having any joy or any fun or any passion in your life, without really attending to your needs. You burn out. And I think that's what a lot of people experienced during the pandemic. I think in a way it was a burnout. People needed that. I think now that I look back at it, I think a lot of people needed the pandemic, like you said, sit down, reflect. People broke up with their husbands and wives during the pandemic.
Yeah, because they really had to be around them. Like, you know what? When I was working 40 hours a week, I only had to see 12 hours a week.
Yeah, and now it's like every single second. You're right there in my face.
But yeah, so it's and I even myself felt like I lost myself as well. Like before I had to really sit with myself. I lost myself, like my creativity. I was like, I used to paint, I used to draw, I used to do a lot of creative stuff that made me happy. And, even just stepping outside sometimes and getting grounded in nature and stuff like that. Because if I'm in the house too long, like I go stir crazy. Like I'm Leo, I want to be outside and I want to be around nature. The sun like literally gives me energy. So I feel like, yeah, sometimes we do need that time. Do you do meditation or anything like that?
I do. So I do get out into nature a little bit more because I'm like you. I have to get out of the house. I have to be grounded. I noticed getting sunlight makes me sleep better. Something about the circadian rhythm, it makes you sleep better. And I do meditate. So I discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I've been knowing him. I just got into his work like a couple months ago because I tried to get back into it in 2020, but I don't know, my brain just didn't register it. Like it didn't make sense to me. But I reread it and I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense.
Yeah,
it's actually quite simple. So yeah, I started into his meditations lately, and they are, man, y'all better not sleep on Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's so good. Like I'm actually trying to go to one of his retreats. Because some retreats going on. I'm really trying to go to I think in December, I'm just trying to see if someone can watch my kid for me, but I've been doing his meditations lately and that's been life-changing. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of started my spiritual journey, I would say maybe like 2021, like really getting into my like meditation, just being more out in nature. And I found that like, I don't know, I had more awareness once I started meditating, kind of like answering my own thoughts, my own questions, like really just trusting myself, I would say. So since then, it's like it's been more enlightening to me because like even starting this podcast, I was like, wait, I love talking to people and I really love connecting with people. Why have I been procrastinating to do this, And it's just kind of like there's never a perfect timing. You just have to do it. You have to put yourself out there and not worry about what's going to happen, because I could, not do it. And by that time, it'd be like I'm like 10 years later, still not doing it. So it's like, why not do it? And it's like I said before, it's not about me. There's people that need to connect with each other. There's people that need more positivity. And I'm tired of the bashing one another, because we all need each other in the end.
We do. If you really think about it, like deep, I'm gonna try not to get too deep, but we're all consciousness. We're all really one at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like we all really, like you said, we all are connected and we all need each other. And you're right, there's all this divisiveness with like the men and women online, and I'm not even get into all that divisiveness.
Yeah, but I'm like, the more energy you spend on the negativity or bashing people, I'm like, well, we put that energy into actually uplifting people. Put that same intensity into instead of talking about how someone is terrible, how can you uplift them? Maybe there's underlying precipitating causes or whatever to their life that you don't know. So getting to actually be quiet sometimes and listen to other people instead of just having assumptions about people. I think we need to do more of, like, because you'd be surprised, like you might have your assumptions about someone, then you'd be like, oh, you like that too? So and so. Just by taking time to actually dive back and just dial it back and not just assume anything.
True. Or not get triggered very easily with what people are saying. I feel like that's a big one too. Or canceling people just because you don't agree with them. Like, try to understand the context behind things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. And instead of hating and being a keyboard warrior and a troll and all of this, because I used to be one, I'm confessing. I was a former hater. I really had to look at myself. I'm like, why am I hating? And because I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. And I saw something in these people and I wanted that. And so there was a coach that I used to hate on. I actually ended up getting coached by her.
Wow.
I did, because I'm like, you know what? I didn't want to be like that anymore. That's negative energy that you're putting out there. Then you're increasing your blood pressure and your stress hormones, and that's just unnecessary,
Yeah, and that's true. It's like it's unnecessary. And then once you dialed it back, you're like, oh, okay. I didn't think about it that perspective, And it's nothing wrong with having opposing perspectives about anything, whether it be personal, political, or whatever. There's no need to like just sum somebody up based on a difference of an opinion about something. Again, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but it's how you go about it. Like, are you being mean and vicious to someone because of an opinion? Like, that's not fair. Unless they're threatening your life. But, but other than that, I just feel like we just need to have more patience. I really feel like love and kindness is like the answer for everything. Like, if you approach everything from a kind place, then, how some people they feed off of you reacting, to something they're trying to get out under your skin. But when you are unbothered and unmoved, it just irritates them more because they're like, I didn't get the reaction I wanted out of you. And so really not giving them that energy, because that really is giving your energy.
It's so true. And it's not easy to do, because I'm working on this. I'm a reactive person, I'll be honest. And I know that about myself. But yeah, taking that time to just, before you react, take some deep breaths, maybe go outside, take a walk, do what you need to do, because when you react, you can say something you regret. And those words linger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
You're wise.
I don't forget anything. I can forgive you, but I don't forget anything. I'll be honest with you. I remember what you said in 2022. Like, but the thing is not to like hold on to that. It's like, yeah, okay, it was messed up, but I'm not gonna let that hold my life from me doing what I need to do. Even though we might get triggered by some things, it's just like, am I going to let that word or that what they say be the sum all of me? No.
You're right.
More,
Yeah, we're all much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're all like, if you think about it, we're great people. Like, humans are actually great. Humans are actually a lot more powerful than we think they are. I'm getting passionate, but
yeah, and that's awesome, because you really feel that, and that's great, and that kind of energy is contagious.
You got great energy, KeKe.
Thank you. You do. It's just natural when you like really genuinely care about people. It's not facetious. It's not just doing it for the clout or whatever. Like, you genuinely feel passionate about anything, even like if in your career path, what you feel passionate about, like it just comes natural. You want to get up, you want to do it, you want to be involved, you want to see how you can improve, and that's the energy that we need to continue to encourage one another, like, yeah, do that. Come on, let's do it. What do you need help with? Not what is in it for me, because I feel like the more we work together, you're going to get your benefits. It might be down the line, when, say for instance, they take off and they remember you helped them in the beginning, so I feel like stop doing things with the intention of what it is, what's in it for me, versus, you'll get your benefits, you'll get your rewards. Probably when you're down and out, you think, what else can I do? Surprise, here's a blessing.
You're right. And it's usually when you least expect it and how you least expect it. I mean, it's just really interesting how things work out in life.
Yeah. And let's talk about like the services that you're currently offering. Is it all virtual or is it in person?
Right now, it is all virtual. If someone wants to meet me in person, if we're like in the same city, like greater Houston area, I'm more than happy to set up a in-person meeting. But for the most part, it is virtual. Excuse me. So what I do several things. Okay. I am someone who had an eating disorder in a bigger body, and I help empower those, whether or not they're in bigger bodies, to go through recovery. I help those who have been through recovery and want to release weight in a safe way, not lose weight, because our brain, when you lose something, the brain wants to take it back. So we're releasing, okay?
Yes.
So I help people release it in a safe way. So it's slow and sustainable, especially after the eating disorder, because weight loss can be triggering for some people. So I do that, and I do mind, body, soul wellness. I'm really into like spirituality and helping people become who they are authentically, live your best life, because we're only on earth once. You're a lot more powerful than you think. And I want to help people reclaim that power. Because, I mean, think about it, from a very young age. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. You can't do this. My mom said this. My church said this. My school said this. My religion says this. But really, like, who are you? And this is what I ask people, like, who are you? Nobody has been able to answer that question, really. Mm-hmm. Like, who are you? Forget KeKe's a mom. Forget KeKe's a podcaster. Who's KeKe? Who are you, KeKe? I'm going to ask you.
I am anything that I set my mind to be. So that's the energy that I'm radiating. And that's a good question because, sometimes you just want to say one title. I don't feel like I'm that. I feel like I'm anything. I'm opportunity. Is limitless for me. What I can be. I'm not just one thing. And that took me a while to actually realize that.
Oh my God, that's a powerful answer. I really like that, KeKe.
It literally, during my spiritual journey, it's taken me a while to realize that, like, I'm not one thing. Well, I box myself into being one thing. I'm limitless. It's a bunch of opportunity out here for me.
For all of us, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, society wants to put us in that one box.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Like, why be in boxes?
Yeah.
Why be limited?
Yes.
Life's too short.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I help people not be limitless anymore. Just be happy, be authentic. And of course, it's not easy. There's steps to it. You can't just do it in a day and be like, oh, I'm going to do this and like quit this and quit that. I mean, there's steps to it. So it's like an onion. We're just slowly layering.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And to say, I have that passion, but I know I still have things to work on. And I feel like those that think they know it all, you don't know. It's always something in this world that you don't know and that you can still learn and grow from. And having that open mind to do so and continue that, I think that's what continues to give you the opportunities for anything, that you're trying to strive for.
I agree 100% because as long as you keep an open mind and an open heart, you're limitless. Like you said, you're limitless. And there's always something to learn. You can always learn from everybody. I believe you can even learn from children. Mm-hmm. Especially kids. Man, kids are freaking smart.
If you think about it, like kindergarten, what do we learn? To be respectful, share. I'm like, what happened to that? Like, we learned that, our little pre-elementary phase up to like pre-K and kindergarten, first grade maybe. But then it's like, what happens? I feel like we need to continue that learning process because if we, kids, they're precious and they don't judge. They don't come in this world that way. It's like, why can't we continue to be kind and share? Like, what happened to those preliminary, practices that we did? Like, why do we learn that in kindergarten and not continue that throughout our life?
I think because we're conditioned as adults to see each other as a threat.
Yeah.
And just competition. And it doesn't have to be that way.
No. And I enjoy watching kids play, or my daughter talking to her friend on the phone, and it's just like, she's like, you can go next. Wait, it's your turn. I'm like, just like it's so basic, it's so easy. I mean, really, but it's like you said, it's been conditioned to think, oh, I gotta be victorious. I gotta step on this person. It's no, like, I'm gonna give you a step. Okay, I'm gonna give you a step. And then we both are climbing together.
Exactly. And why not do it together? There's room for all of us.
It is.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. That was good.
Look, we're just passionate talking about what we really, it comes out natural when you're just talking about what you really feel. Like you said, being your authentic self is the best thing to be.
It is, because when you are your authentic self, you're more balanced and you're more in alignment with who you truly are.
Exactly.
But sometimes with that could be a trigger for other people too, because a lot of people are not living authentically. And so that's okay. That means that maybe whenever they're ready, if they're ready, we help them. And if they're not, you give them love from a distance.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you also can hold that space for them when they are ready. Like, I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. But like you said, sometimes it has to be on their time, because you can want something so much for somebody, but if they don't want it for themselves, then you can't force somebody, because they're not really going to be committed to do it. So it's kind of just, I'll hold that space for you. I'm here for you. But I'm not going to force you to do something, because you're not going to be your authentic self. You're not really going to want the change.
It's true. You're right. And like you said, maybe there's something that someone has to learn in their situation right now. Some lessons, probably some tough ones, but that will get them to change if and when they're ready. And like you said, hold that space when it happens.
So true.
And not judge them too. Like, don't judge them just because you see things that you want them to work on or you want them to change. I mean, they are on their own timeline. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all on our own timeline. So stay encouraged, stay positive, just stay grounded, and you'll get there. One step at a time, you'll get there.
Yes.
And Aliyah, we always like to close out our show with a quote. So I wanted to share something that resonated with you. Where attention goes, energy flows. How does that resonate with you?
I think that was just like our whole theme to this podcast, unintentionally.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
No, you're right. Where your attention goes, energy flows, and why put it in a negative situation and just make things more negative, probably make your health more negative. Let's just change little by little. Change is not a day. It takes time. But we're all capable of it.
Yeah. And like you said, it did circle back to what we talked about. What are you putting your energy into? You want a positive river, or you want a dried up river? Like, putting more positivity in there, you're going to have more fish. Versus a dried up river that's going to have nothing. You're not going to benefit from none of that in the end.
It is so true. So remember, people, where attention goes, and we got energy flows. I can't speak, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Aliyah. And I'm sure that we'll chat again soon about your ventures, upcoming, anything that you have. We're here for you to support you.
Thank you for having me on. It was fun.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let's KeKe, episode 10. This was an enlightening podcast, because it really was introspective as we chatted today together, and I hope that you've learned something. Like, it's never too late. There's no time limit on your purpose. There's no cap on what you can do in this world. It's just about what are you putting your energy into? Are you standing back and just watching people and, sending out negativity to them? Or are you working on yourself and trying to grow? So, if you're interested in being on Let's KeKe, please email us at letskekeshow@gmail.com, which is strolling on the bottom here. And if let's just grow, let's share, and let's just continue to put positivity out there, because I just want everybody to know that they're important and they're seen. All right. Thank you. Tune in next time.